Traveling can be one of the most enriching experiences in life, but it can also have its fair share of challenges. In the summer of 2019, a group of American girls set out to explore Italy, hoping to discover the country's rich culture, history, and cuisine. Little did they know, their journey would turn into a nightmare, testing their resilience, courage, and friendship. In this travel story, we will follow their harrowing adventure, as they faced unexpected setbacks, cultural clashes, and even danger, in a foreign land far from home. The terrible journey of American girls in Italy. It all started with high hopes and big dreams. The four girls had been planning their trip to Italy for months, saving up money, researching destinations, and learning some Italian phrases. They had booked their flights, reserved their accommodations, and prepared their itineraries. They were ready to embark on a journey that they hoped would change their lives forever. Their first stop was Rome, the eternal city that boasts of countless landmarks, museums, and restaurants. They checked into their Airbnb apartment, located in a lively neighborhood near the Colosseum. They were thrilled to be in Italy, taking selfies and posting updates on social media. They roamed the streets, admiring the ancient ruins, indulging in gelato, and shopping for souvenirs. They also joined a guided tour of the Vatican, marveling at the Sistine Chapel, St. Peter's Basilica, and the Pope's balcony. However, their joy was short-lived. On their second day in Rome, one of the girls, named Emma, fell sick with a high fever and stomach pain. She couldn't leave the bed, and her friends became worried. They tried to find a doctor or clinic nearby, but they struggled to communicate with the locals, who spoke little English. They also discovered that their travel insurance didn't cover medical emergencies, and they had to pay out of pocket. Eventually, they found a private hospital, where Emma was diagnosed with a bacterial infection and prescribed antibiotics. She had to stay in bed for 3 days, while her friends took turns to nurse her and bring her food. The ordeal didn't end there. When they tried to leave Rome for their next destination, Florence, they encountered a train strike, which disrupted their schedule and forced them to buy expensive last-minute tickets. They also had to drag their heavy suitcases up and down the crowded and narrow stairs of the train station, sweating and cursing. They arrived in Florence exhausted and frustrated, hoping for some respite, but they soon realized that Florence had its own challenges. The city was packed with tourists, making it hard to move around and enjoy the sights. They also found it difficult to find good restaurants that served authentic Italian food, as many places were catering to the tourist crowds with overpriced and mediocre menus. They tried to ask for recommendations from locals, but they were met with skepticism and indifference. They also had some uncomfortable encounters with Italian men, who catcalled and harassed them on the streets, making them feel unsafe and disrespected. Their last stop was Venice, the city of canals and gondolas, which they had been looking forward to visiting. They arrived in Venice by train, and then took a water taxi to their hotel, located in a quiet and picturesque neighborhood. They breathed a sigh of relief, hoping to have a peaceful and enjoyable time before heading back home. But fate had other plans. On their second day in Venice, they decided to take a gondola ride, which they had seen in many movies and postcards. They found a gondolier who offered them a reasonable price, and they hopped on the boat, excited to see the city from a different angle. However, as they were gliding through the narrow canals, they noticed that the gondolier was taking them to a secluded and dark corner, away from the main tourist routes. They felt uneasy and asked him to stop, but he didn't listen. He started making lewd remarks and gestures, and tried to touch them inappropriately. They screamed and pushed him away, but he became more aggressive and threatened to harm them if they didn't comply. They realized that they were in grave danger, trapped in a vulnerable situation, far from help or support. In a moment of courage and desperation, one of the girls, named Sophia, took out her phone and dialed the emergency number, hoping that someone would answer and rescue them. To their relief, a female operator picked up and asked them for their location and situation. They managed to give her some clues, while the gondolier was distracted, and hoped that she would send help soon. They waited in fear and uncertainty, as the gondolier was getting angrier and more violent. They feared for their lives, and wondered if they would ever make it out alive. They tried to stay calm and composed, but their hearts were pounding and their hands were shaking. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, they heard the sound of a police boat approaching. They saw the lights and heard the sirens, and felt a surge of relief and hope. The gondolier realized that his plan had failed, and tried to flee, but the police caught him and arrested him. They escorted the girls to safety and comforted them, assuring them that they were safe now. They spent the rest of their trip in Venice, recovering from the trauma and reflecting on their experience. They realized that travel could be both beautiful and dangerous, and that they had to be prepared for both. They also learned that not all Italians were friendly and welcoming, and that they had to be cautious and respectful in a foreign country. They bonded over their shared struggle and triumph, and vowed to stay strong and adventurous. Conclusion. In the end, the journey of the American girls in Italy was a mix of joy and pain, adventure and adversity, friendship and fear. They had faced unexpected setbacks, cultural clashes, and even danger, but they had also discovered the beauty and richness of a foreign land, and the resilience and bravery of their own selves. They had a story to tell, a lesson to learn, and a memory to cherish. Their travel experience had shaped them and inspired them, and they would never forget it.